Hey, how's it going, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another DVD/Blu-ray update. And it's been a while since we've done one of these. It's actually been since February that we've done a DVD and Blu-ray update. The reason being, I need another car. My car died on me, so I had to save up for another car. Had no money for entertainment or buying DVDs and Blu-rays. It was really depressing. I was getting that itch hardcore. But now I got another car, so I'll probably be able to pick up some stuff once again, and I won't be as depressed. So what I got here is actually everything that I've had picked up and received since February. I got some DVDs that I was able to buy either for the podcast or just here and there able to. And then of course I got some gifts that was sent to me from friends of my podcast and just friends in general. And then of course I got some stuff that was sent to me through other means. So yeah, let's hop right into it. First up, we're going to go with some stuff that I picked up myself. These were from some Go Hastings orders, just a couple, films that were really cheap. So let's get started. First up, we have Body Snatchers, The Invasion Continues. This was actually one of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films that I needed to pick up for the podcast. I believe this is the 90s version. We had an episode planned where we was going to cover all the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films, kind of in a franchise overview. Unfortunately, we kind of ran out of time and episodes, and we wasn't able to put that episode together before our Season 2 finals. So we did kind of port it over to Season 3, so somewhere around September, when we start the podcast back up again, we will probably incorporate this episode idea into one of the early episodes, so be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited to finally check out these films because I haven't seen any of them. Then I have a pickup by mistake here, and that is Piranha. This was from that same Go Hastings order, and I ordered the 90s remake, and they sent me the 2000-something Dimension remake. I was pretty mad, and Go Hastings does that sometimes. That's not the first time it happened to me where they confuse titles, and they normally make it right. They normally fix the situation. I actually called them, and they just kind of gave me a runaround. So that was really my first huge negative experience with Go Hastings. Fortunately, I only lost a couple bucks. And I really didn't even want this because I wanted to pick it up on Blu-ray, and this DVD is actually like all tattered and beat up, so it even adds to the sting. So yeah, I still want the 90s remake, and I still want this version on Blu-ray, so this is pretty much useless to me. So the second Piranha remake, accidentally picked that one up. Then we have Glass Trap. I got this for like $1 at a pawn shop. It's killer insects. I love me some killer insects, even though like 80% of the films are bad. There's some decent ones from the 90s with killer snakes, killer bees and stuff that's never been released on DVD. Kind of wish some of those would get picked up. But this one, it looks like killer ants. I'm cool with that. Should be fun. It's probably pretty bad, but I'd seen this one floating around for $5 or $6 a lot of times, and I've always passed on it. Glad I did pass on it because I was able to get it for just $1, which is the appropriate price for a killer insect film of lesser quality, which I imagine this one is. Could be wrong though. After that, we have another film that we were supposed to cover on the podcast, and that is The Bad Seed. So we had this planned for maybe like episode 49, and we kind of delayed a few times, and by the time we got to that episode, I had already watched this film like 3 weeks before, and I felt like it wasn't fresh in my memory because I always like to watch films a day before we do them on the podcast so they're really fresh in my head. And I asked if we could swap it out for a different film, and the other host agreed. So this is a really good film, though. I highly recommend it. You can get it for under $5 on DVD. It's a classic black and white tale of a killer kid, an evil child. Good stuff. Not my favorite subgenre, but definitely this one is a standout. It's a little long, though. After that, we have Scream Factory's TV Terrors. Whatever you do, do not ask Scream Factory for a Volume 2 of TV Terrors. Those of you who are part of the 22 Shots and Moods and Horror group page probably know what I'm talking about. It's a little inside joke. This one had The Initiation of Sarah and Are You in the House Alone? I don't recommend you ask for another one. But if you haven't joined the group page, definitely do that because we have fun experiences like asking for TV Terrors Volume 2 that happens to us. So yeah, Scream Factory's TV Terrors. After that, we have Brides of Blood. I was preparing for the episode of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, episode 51, where we was counting down our top 10 horror films of 1968, and I was trying to pick up a lot of these films. Unfortunately, a lot of them are really expensive or out of print or have never even been released on DVD. This was one that actually was released on DVD, and it was actually cheap, so I picked it up, and it really is kind of trash. I really wasn't too into it. It was really, really boring, so I do not recommend Brides of Blood. It definitely didn't make my top 10 of 1968. After that, we have Wreck 2. I've not seen any of the Wreck films. I've heard so much good things about them over the years. I've always wanted to check them out. Unfortunately, I've kind of just been saving them. I had the idea in my head that maybe we can cover them on the podcast. It would be a cool franchise overview, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So I've kind of just been holding off until maybe one day we cover them on the podcast. I do have part 1, and now I have part 2. I just need to pick up 3 and 4. After that, we have Arm Stints. This is under the Macabre label, and this is a label that I really like. I try to grab these from time to time. I have the Banshee chapter and the Thompsons, or a couple other ones, so I've been, tracking these down. Some of them are actually a little hard to find now. I didn't realize the amount that there was under that label. But this is probably the one I was looking forward to the most. I guess it's like a Groundhog Day type scenario. Guy keeps reliving the same day over and over again with some horror elements. Sounds dope to me. That's my kind of horror film. So really looking forward to checking this one out. After that, we have a couple of films that was sent to me by friends. And first up, we have 2 films that I got from Moods. And something really cool about this one in particular, it's Pieces of Talent in the white case. When he had sent this to me, I didn't even realize it was signed. It is signed by the actors, and I didn't even notice. It kind of just blended in with the background, so I wasn't really paying attention. And before I did this update, I was like, holy shit, this is signed. I don't know if he told me that or not, but it must have slipped my mind if he did, because I got really pumped. So big thanks to Moods on that. Pieces of Talent is a great movie. It's one of those films you just want to recommend to people because it's indie, and you feel like you want to help support this film by getting other people to rent it or buy it, or watch it on Netflix or some kind of streaming site. It's one that you would want to give away in the contest, because you're helping the contest winner by giving them a good film, and you're helping the filmmakers by buying another copy. So really, really cool. Moods. This is a great movie. It made both me and Moods' top 10 list. It actually made Moods' #1 in his top 10 of 2014. So Pieces of Talent, I highly recommend checking that one out. Big thanks to Moods for that, bro. Truly means a lot, man. Thanks. Then we have another film that he sent me, and that is Drive-In Madness. I was on a little documentary kick for a while, so he hooked me up with this one that I didn't have. Big thanks for that, because this looks awesome. I can't wait to check this out. Drive-In Madness. I've heard good things, so looking forward to that one. Next up, we have a few films that Derek, the big homie Derek from Boston, wicked awesome. Thanks for hooking me up with these, dog. First up, we have Hitchhike, David Hess. This looks really cool. I actually don't own a lot of Blue Undergrounds. I only own a handful, so it's cool to add another one to the collection. I think this film's actually getting a Blu-ray release pretty soon. But this, stars David Hess from Last House on the Left, and the other one that's really similar, I think it's like House on the Edge of the Park or something. Really good stuff, man. So I'm looking forward to this. This looks great. This 70s sleaze and stuff, it looks like. So looking forward to checking that one out. After that, we have Gamera Trilogy. He sent me this too. I'm not the biggest fan of giant monsters, but they're kind of growing on me. Last year when the Godzilla film was released, you kept seeing like releases of all the other Godzilla films in Walmarts for like $5. I picked up like 4 of them, and I liked 3 out of the 4, I think, pretty well. I like them when they're a little more serious than when they're over the top and ridiculous, and more comedy, more like family friendly. So I hear these ones might be a little bit more serious. I think that I may have seen these before, like on TV in the 90s, because I was looking at some of the images, and it looks kind of familiar, so I don't know. But Blu-ray triple feature, awesome stuff, Derek. After that, we have the third and final thing that Derek sent me, and that is Rodan and War of the Gargantuans. When I was doing the 1968 preparation for the 1968 show on the podcast, War of the Gargantuans, I believe, was released in the U.S. in 1968. So I actually could have watched this, and I didn't even realize it, because when he sent this to me, I thought it was Rodan and War of the Gargantuans. Like, it was the one whole title. It's kind of stupid now that I think about it, because I know that both of these are separate films and I've heard of them before, so I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, this is actually two films. I'm more interested in Rodan, honestly, but I'll definitely check both of these out. They look like there's some fun, so awesome stuff. I know there's a name for like the giant monsters and stuff, but I forget it, and I'm not really sure. I'm not too well versed in them, but I'm learning a little bit more, so that's pretty cool. Next up is a couple films that Brandon sent me. First up is The Secret in Their Eyes, which is a solid movie. It's kind of a thriller, has a really good ending. It's a Spanish film, very, Academy Award winner 2009. Really, well made film here. Kind of a little long though, so definitely a solid film though. Thanks, Brandon. After that, we have another one that he sent me. That is The Ninth Configuration. This is a great one. This is one that really messes with your head. It's kind of up to you. There's a lot of left for interpretation for you to kind of figure this film out. It's set in a really cool era with these war patients who are presumably crazy. Just a very interesting, well-made, multi-layered film with just a lot of stuff going on. So The Ninth Configuration, I definitely recommend that. Some cool actors in there as well. And finally, Brandon sent me Sleep Tight, which, man, this was a hit, dude. This was a great film. It's a Spanish film from the director of and co-creator of Rec 1 and 2. Just a very powerful film, powerful ending, just suspenseful, a really well done horror thriller. I highly recommend this. This actually made our Hall of Fame in the on the 22 Shots website, so definitely check out Sleep Tight if you never have. It came out from Dark Sky Films. Alright, now we're going to roll into some of the screeners or the press copies that I got. First up, we have The House of 100 Eyes. I just did a review on this film. Really good. It's from Artsploitation Films. I definitely want to go out and buy some of the back catalog of these of this company. This is their 15th release, I believe. They do have the spine numbered. I don't know if you can see that with how many releases they've done. So I think that's really cool, and it really makes me want to collect them even more. There's a couple films that they had released previously before I was in contact with them that I'll definitely try to grab. So House of 100 Eyes, The House with 100 Eyes. Really solid, kind of extreme found footage style film. I do recommend it. Check out my review of it. It's a very positive review. So The House with 100 Eyes, very good stuff there. Next up, we have a film that was sent to me from Lionsgate, and that is Roommate Wanted. I did a review on this one as well, and I do recommend it. It's more of a rent, but it's a lot of fun. It's kind of this just, back and forth battle between two people who absolutely hate each other because their personalities are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Really fun. It's a comedy. It's not really a horror film. It's more of a thriller comedy. It's kind of a quirky weirdness. It really is kind of hard to label it, but it's a lot of fun. And Alexa Vega is hot as hell, so definitely check out Roommate Wanted. I recommend a rent in like a Redbox or something. Another one that who sent me this? Arc Entertainment sent me this. This is Private Number. I don't think this one's released yet, but it should be getting released pretty soon. This is a really solid one as well. Actually, no, it's not. My bad. I was thinking of something else. It's a decent average one, rather. It's funny how you do that sometimes, but yeah, this one's kind of average. It's kind of a psychological thriller mixed with a supernatural element, like kind of ghostly stuff. I felt like it got a little convoluted and kind of wonky, but it was still a half decent movie. I recommend a rent on that one as well. Then we got a big batch that Wild Eye Releasing hooked me up with. The first one, which was the one I actually asked for, and that is High 8. This one has been getting a lot of positive reviews. I know Moods is a fan of it. It's kind of like that shot-on video style. It's an anthology. You have Todd Sheets and Chris Seaver up in here directing segments, kind of guys who dominated that era and that style of filmmaking. You know, they're making a sequel to this with Dustin Mills and Ryan Nicholson, so I'm really excited to see that. Yeah, so you know, this one I'm excited to see as well. I'll definitely do a review on this one pretty soon. Then they hooked me up with Snuff, a documentary of killing on camera. This one seems pretty interesting. You never really know with Wild Eye. You know, they sort of do, you know, some good stuff, some bad stuff. It's kind of a mixed pot. So it really is kind of fun because, you know, there could be some sleeper hits in there, and it's fun to kind of discover those. So this one looks kind of interesting, especially after recently watching House with 100 Eyes that was kind of based in like that snuff world. Kind of got me interested in checking this one out. After that, we have American Poltergeist, and this one is funny because this is obviously kind of a mockbuster of the new Poltergeist film. And it's funny because, you know, Wild Eye is starting to do that Asylum thing where they're trying to, you know, create mockbusters on similar sounding films that are coming out, which I have no problem with. You know, go ahead and make that money. I love when companies become successful, and as long as Wild Eye keeps, you know, delivering with some hits here and there, you can have a mockbuster every once in a while. So American Poltergeist, I seriously don't know what to even think about that one. Then we have Blood Slaughter Massacre. It's literally called Blood Slaughter Massacre. That is crazy. So yeah, this one, I'll probably review this one sooner rather than later because I think I have a theme week that this could go with on Body Bag. So, you know, looks like some kind of slasher. It almost looks like Captain Spaulding in old age makeup. You know, it looks kind of cool. The cover definitely looks cool. Who knows what the film will be like. Then you have Ebola Zombies. Oh my god. Dawn of the Dead meets The Raid. I highly doubt it. But, you know, maybe I should see it before I start throwing accusations at it. So, Ebola Zombies. After that, we have another cheesy looking one, and that's Frankenstein's Hungry Dead. This one looks a little awful. I'm not too sure about this one, but hey, you know, I'll check it out. Then we have another one here from Wild Eye, and it is Memory Lane. I actually think I've heard decent things about this one. This one seems a little interesting. It has some nice quotes on it and stuff like that, so I'll probably check this one out. You know, in the Wild Eye stack, I'll move it closer to the top because it seems like it could be a little interesting. So, Memory Lane. And finally, from Wild Eye, we have Jonah Lives. I'm definitely not sure about this one. This one looks like some zombie type stuff. There's a Ouija board on the back. Who knows what this one could be. So, yeah, I mean, Wild Eye releasing, hooking me up with a lot of titles there. I only really asked for High 8, and, you know, now I have a ton of films to review. So, definitely get on that. Next up, we have some Blu-rays that I got, you know, in press copy form. And first up, we have Der Samurai. This is another artsploitation. If this is anything like House with 100 Eyes, I'm definitely looking forward to it. This is their 16th release. It comes from Germany. This film gets officially released in June, I believe, mid-June. So I'll let you guys know if it's worth picking up or not. It looks pretty cool, from Germany. Blu-ray, I'll definitely check that one out soon. After that, we have an All of Films release, and that is Satan's Blade. This one was partnered up with Slasher Video. I do recommend a buy on this one. The film isn't the greatest. It's about 5.5 out of 10. I know Jeremy kind of felt similar with me. Moods thought it was a little worse than that, but I do recommend it because it's an interesting watch of kind of this lost, you know, weird film that you probably wouldn't see otherwise. I love the idea of taking these, like, you know, little films that could, and you know, giving them nice treatments with special features and stuff. And the special features on here are really cool. I did a full review on this. Check it out. I talked about the special features and everything. After that, we have a couple more olives here. First up is It, The Terror Beyond Space. They hooked me up with this one. You know, I really love Olive. I love what they're doing. You know, I've really kind of liked supporting them ever since they released Tix. I picked that one up. It's out of print now, but Tix is a great release. So I always get excited when I get new olives in the mail. This one looks pretty cool. I've been kind of getting into this era a little bit more. This is a 1958 film, black and white, some space stuff. I'm starting to like these a lot more, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out. Then we have another film from Olive, and that is Peter Blanchie's Creature. This apparently was like a mini-series in the 90s about a killer shark man type thing. I don't know, it looks great. I grew up watching 90s TV movies, and I'm really surprised that this one never came across my TV screen, because I watched a lot of them growing up, so really excited to check this one out. It is a little long, so I'm gonna have to, you know, break it up into parts maybe and watch it, because you know, it's gonna be an interesting film to review. So Creature, looking forward to that one. These next ones I actually requested, because Olive usually only sends me the horror titles, but I recently did a blaxploitation documentary watch, and I did a review for it, so I was really kind of interested in the films that came out of that documentary, the films that were mentioned in that documentary. So first up we have The Hammer. This is Fred Williamson, who was very mentioned in the blaxploitation documentary that I seen, which I think it was called Badass Cinema. So yeah, this is one that I'm looking forward to. It's not horror, but you know, it's exploitation style. Looking forward to that one. Then we have Coffee. This is the one I was most looking forward to, because I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Of course, Pam Grier, great cover. Really excited to check this one out. I've heard nothing but good things about this film, so looking forward to checking out the transfer on Blu-ray. It's really getting me excited. And then we have Pam Grier in Foxy Brown, which is another one, man. They mentioned this one a lot in the documentary too, so this is a cool cover. Pam Grier, you gotta love her. All the films doing good things, big things here, releasing these blaxploitation Pam Grier films, of course written and directed by Jack Hill. Really excited to check this out, Foxy Brown. And then finally, from all the films, we have Friday Foster. This one, I don't think I've heard of this one, honestly, but it is starring Pam Grier, so I'm definitely going to give that one a watch as well. Alright, finally we're going to roll into some of the other titles that I picked up myself. First up we have Mad Max. I actually seen this in a Walmart for like 13 bucks, and I thought it was really cool because I'd never seen Scream Factory Blu-rays in Walmarts. I always see them only on DVDs, so hopefully this is a good sign to come, more Blu-rays from Scream Factory and Walmarts, because if it's DVD I don't even buy it unless it's DVD only. So yeah, Mad Max, not really the biggest fan. I love The Road Warrior and I love Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I watch them all the time on Monster Vision, but unfortunately the first Mad Max I just can never get into. So now that I have it on a Blu-ray and a decent copy, I'm actually going to give it a fair shot and really kind of sit through the whole original film and see what I think of it. After that we have The Babadook, which is another film released from Scream Factory. This is a partnership with IFC Midnight. I believe this was the first partnership release, but now there's like a bunch of them coming out. Got the pop-up book, really cool stuff. Loved this film. It made my top 10 of last year, and a really cool release by Scream Factory. After that we have Class of 1984, which I got in one of their sales, and I actually grabbed it and ended up getting the poster as well. This is not a film that I would absolutely want the poster. As some of you guys know, Scream Factory, on their collector's editions, they release a limited number of posters if you order directly from Scream Factory. I do try to grab the ones I'm really excited about, like, you know, the Phantasm 2 one and the Sleepaway Camp one over there. But, you know, Class of 1984, it's a good movie and I like it and stuff, but I wasn't, you know, trying to get the poster and ended up getting it anyway. I wish they would release the sequels to this, the loosely based sequels, Class of 1999 and Class of 1999 Part 2, The Substitute. Those are fun as well, but looking forward to revisiting this one. After that we have X-Ray and Schizoid. Don't really know anything about these. This was an early release that I needed. You know, I liked when Scream Factory first started with their double features with The Video Dead and Terror Vision, and they were really kind of molded and pushed together like the films were an actual double feature, like they had a connection. I'm not really sure if these ones do, but they kind of really went away from that, and that's what made their double features really neat, was what they did with The Video Dead and Terror Vision. So I'll check these ones out eventually. After that we have Slumber Party Massacre by Scream Factory. I had this in the DVD, the trilogy DVD. Never been the biggest fan of these films, to be honest, but it's been a good 7 years, 6-7 years since I've seen these. So I'm looking forward to checking out the first one on Blu-ray. I remember, you know, it's a pretty solid movie. I'm more versed in slashers now than I was back then. I love them, you know, more, even though I loved them a lot back then. So maybe I'll find a new enjoyment in Slumber Party Massacre. After that, we have Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. This is one that I just needed in the collection. It was one of the early releases that I didn't have. I believe this is the earliest release that I didn't have. So finally got Swamp Thing. Honestly, I'm just not really looking forward to it. It really doesn't seem like my style, so I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. Then we have another film I was supposed to cover on the podcast, and that is Deep in the Darkness. This one is, I don't know what happened. We were supposed to cover it, and I think we just kind of forgot about it, or just, you know, canceled it. We kind of always was covering these, you know, Scream Factory contemporary releases, and they started getting so bad with Animal and Dark Hall that we kind of just went away from that. They started releasing a lot more, so yeah, I don't think we're really going to cover a lot of those anymore. But The Battery and the Beneath film, those were both good. This one, I'm not sure if this one's good or not, but, you know, I'll check it out eventually. After that, we have another Scream Factory release, and that is From a Whisper to a Scream. Never seen this, but this is a really cool thing, because if you ordered it directly from Scream Factory, it comes with a actual piece of the film with a card signed by director Jeff Burr. I thought that was really, really cool. That's why I ordered it from Scream Factory. I had to get that. Nice little bonus there. So really looking forward to checking this one out. I hear it's a cool anthology. Next up, we have Sleepaway Camp 2, the Collector's Edition Blu-ray. I was so pumped for these releases. This is one of my most excited releases of the summer. Ever since last summer we did the episode 22 of the 22 Shots podcast, I've just fell in love with, I found a new love for these films. I love them. I loved the first one when I first seen it. But watching the first one on Blu-ray and then going through the series, there's something about them that I really do love. So, super happy to see it. Awesome edition here of Sleepaway Camp 2, and I actually did grab the poster for this as well, if you order directly from Scream Factory. So I have the first poster up there. I'm going to move it over to this wall and put the second one next to it because it's going to be awesome. So Sleepaway Camp 2 is definitely my favorite of the sequels. Then, of course, we have to follow that up with Sleepaway Camp 3. This one I like a little bit less, but it kind of grew on me a little bit. Of course, I got the poster to this one as well. That one will be going over there, and Part 2 will be next to it, and then Part 3 will be next to that. I think it's going to look great on the wall. I like this cover better than the Part 2 cover, and it's weird because I like the Part 2 film better than Part 3. But they're both. I like them, even though the second one looks a little weird. I still like it. And finally, these are the last couple films that I picked up. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This was from Olive. Even though I do get press copies from Olive, I still do support the releases that I don't get, and that is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I picked this one up for about 15 bucks for the podcast, the episode that I was talking about earlier, so we'll definitely check this out next season. I started watching it actually, and it was really good. But I just felt like I should hold off till we cover it on the podcast, so it's fresh in my head. After that, we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I believe this was the 80s version. I hear this one's pretty good as well, so grab this one super cheap on Blu-ray. Then we have The Invasion, which I believe is the fourth and final version of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films, which I hear is not very good, but who knows, we'll have to check it out. And then the last two things here. First up, I got Mimic 3 film set. This was in the Walmart dump bin. Nice find here. I do remember the first Mimic film. I believe it's Guillermo del Toro. I used to watch these on the Sci-Fi Channel. I believe I have seen all three of them, but it's been forever, so I barely remember any of them. So really looking forward to checking out all three of those back to back to back. And finally, for this update, which my voice is getting tired, so I'm glad we're at the end, is Carrie, the remake. I didn't really like this film that much, but it was super cheap. This was like $3, and I had to go for it because it has the lenticular cover, which is dope. About the most dope thing about this film, actually. But Scream Factory recently released the Carrie double feature of the TV remake and the sequel, so I figured I have the original. I have this one, I planned on picking up the double feature, so I might as well complete the collection and grab this one. So Yep, that's it for the update, guys. I'm not sure how long this one went, but I'm pretty sure it's long. Thank you for joining me. I really look forward to starting up my collecting again. Peace out, homies.